Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott. Really excited today to cover some more Robert Collier. If you get a chance, check out my previous episodes that I've done on Robert Collier, including his book, Be Rich, That Old Witch Bad Luck, and it's in the giving, not the getting. All three of those episodes were really powerful. He loves to pull in poetry and certain quotes. It's super motivational. And I think he's a terrific writer of affirmations on the Joseph Murphy level. Here he discusses treasure mapping and scrapbooking as a sort of advanced vision boarding technique that is very powerful, where you combine cutting out images and affirmations and scrapbooks with specific intentions. I have found this to be very effective. I've had personal success on multiple levels using this technique. For a lot of people, it's hard to vision board because you don't have any room on your wall, or you just don't want to have a vision board. But if you have a scrapbook that you're regularly looking at and you use certain images, it can be even more powerful. Scrapbooking and Treasure Mapping by Robert Collier. Did you ever notice that if you leave off the P from the word praise, what you have left is raise? There is no mere accident, for wise men have realized for thousands of years that to praise is to raise the spirits and increase the power of the one praised. In the same way, praise of God and thankfulness for his gifts raises the spirits of the one who sings those praises to the heights of rare accomplishment. Just as praise and thanksgiving freed Paul and Silas from the chains of the dungeon, so can they free you from worry and fear, from the dungeons of dark despair. I will sing unto Jehovah, sang the psalmist of old, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. And if we would have him deal bountifully with us, it behooves us to praise and be thankful for the good we now have, no matter how small that good may seem to be. The righteous doth sing and rejoice, we are told in the scriptures, and the Hebrew word used for sing seems to sing out loud, even to shout for joy. To sing with joy is one of the long-neglected truths of power. The sons of God shouted for joy. The kingdom of heaven is the kingdom of expansion, and the way to expand what we have is through praise and joy and thanksgiving. Seldom indeed in the Bible do you find that God provides supply out of thin air. Almost always, he requires the recipients of his bounty to start with what they have. The widow with the oil and meal, the other widow with the little oil, the feeding of the multitudes with the loaves and the fishes, and scores of other cases, all started with the supply in hand. God expanded what they had, and God will expand what you have if you rightly use the power of praise and thanksgiving. But mere expansion is not enough. You might expand all the water in the world into steam and get no good from it. If you have no engine in which to use the steam, you must have a purpose in mind if you are to get the most good from your expansion. You must set a goal. You must plan the form in which that expanded energy is to make itself manifest. It can be in your body, in your circumstances, in your surroundings, in anything of good you may desire. Some year ago, the Journal of Education had a story that expressed this idea clearly. There's once a prince, it read, who had a crooked back. He could never stand straight up like even the lowest of his subjects, because he was a very proud prince. His crooked back caused him a great deal of mental suffering. One day he called before him the most skillful sculptor in his kingdom and said to him, "Make me a noble statue of myself, true to my likeness in every detail, with this exception, make this statue with a straight back. I wish to see myself as I might have been." For long months, the sculptor worked, hewing the marble carefully into the likeness of the prince, and at last the work was done, and the sculptor went before the prince and said, "The statue is finished. Where shall I set it up?" One of the courtiers called out, "See it before the castle gate, where all can see it." But the prince smiled sadly and shook his head. "Rather," said he, "place it in a secret nook in the palace garden, where only I shall see it." The statue was placed as the prince ordered, and promptly forgotten by the world. But every morning and every noon and every evening, the prince stole it quietly away to where it stood and looked long upon it, noting the straight back and uplifted head and the noble brow. And each time he gazed, something seemed to go out of the statue and into him, tingling in his blood and throbbing in his heart. The days passed into months, and the months into years. Then strange rumors began to spread throughout the land. Said one, "The prince's back is no longer crooked, or my eyes deceive me." Said another, "Our prince has the high look of a mighty man." And these rumors came to the prince, and he listened with a queer smile. Then he went out into the garden to where the statue stood, and behold, it was just as the people said. His back had become straight as the statue's. His head had the same noble bearing. He was, in fact, the noble man his statue proclaimed him to be. When its culture led the world, Grecian mothers surrounded themselves with beautiful statues that they might bring forth perfect children, and that the children in turn might develop into perfect men and women. 11 months from now, you will have an entirely new body inside and out. Not a single cell, not a single bit of tissue that is now in you will be there then. What changes do you want made in the new body? What improvements? Then start right now getting that new model clearly in mind. Buy yourself a scrapbook. Cut from the magazines a picture of the finest figure of a man or woman that you can find and paste it on page 1. Cut out other pictures that show clearly different parts of your body that need developing or perfecting and paste them on other pages. Then cut pictures of people doing the sort of things you would love to do: dancing, swimming, riding horseback, rowing, fishing, playing golf or tennis, anything you like, and paste them on different pages of your scrapbook. At the top and bottom of each page or alongside the pictures, put such reminders and affirmations as these: Father God, I thank Thee for my glorious strength, my abiding health, my tireless energy. Vitalize Thy perfect image in me in perfect form. I am strong in the Lord and the power of His might. God made me in His own image. He is my strength and power. He maketh my way perfect. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? Divine love protects and sustains me. I am the open channel through which the healing currents of life are now flowing. God is my life. God is my health. In God is my trust. Under a picture showing someone with a splendid chest, taking breathing exercise, put the Spirit of the Lord hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty giveth me life. Under one bathing, wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow under a picture of the eyes. Open thou mine eyes, that in thy light I may see the light. Or if your eyes are weak or troublesome, put Jehovah openeth the eyes of the blind. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. I see God in my eyes, in their perfect life and strength and wholeness. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. According to thy faith can be it done unto you. Under a picture at a well-filled table, thou shalt eat thy bread with joy. Under sleep, they that rest in the Lord shall renew their strength like the eagle. They shall walk and not faint. They shall run and not be weary. Thy Spirit strengthens both my soul and my body, and I rest in peace of wholeness and health. Under vigorous, happy, healthy, older people, as my days, so shall my strength be. Behold, all things are becoming new. Thou shalt make me full of joy in thy presence. Passing years have no effect upon my spiritual body. I am alive in Jesus Christ forever. I am a tower of strength and stability in the realization that God is my health. God's life is constant, unbroken, eternal. I am quickened in His consciousness of life. His constant power and strength sustain me, and I am healed. I am a perfect idea of God, and all of life is with me now and always. A long time ago, Epictetus said, God has delivered you to your care. And this is what he says to you: I have no fitter to trust than you. Preserve this body for me, just as it is, by nature, modest, beautiful, faithful, noble, tranquil. You will find many affirmations to paste in your scrapbook. Use any and all that seem helpful. But that saying of Epictetus is a good one to paste on the last page, a good one to bear always in mind. God has delivered you to your care, and God gave you dominion. So think of yourself as well and strong. Think of your body as spiritual substance that is not subject to the ills of the flesh. Think of it as constantly changing, continually growing into the perfect image that you are holding before it. The kingdom of heaven is the kingdom of expansion. If you have but a single perfect cell in your whole body, you can expand that cell into a perfect body, provided only that you hold before it the image of health and strength, not of sickness, provided only that you believe God made man but little lower than the angels. Give us this day our daily bread. For your prosperity and abundant supply scrapbook, you cannot do better than start with that line from the Lord's Prayer. Give us this day our daily bread. Get a picture of a horn of plenty, a cornucopia, with all manner of good things pouring out of it, and paste it on the first page of your scrapbook. Line the page with pictures of sparrows and lilies of the field to remind you of Jesus' promise, and then put at the bottom of the page something like this: O God, beginning now, I shall forever let thy Spirit infinite become the sole dictator of my soul, and I shall never more take anxious thought of anything, but grow as the lilies grow, in peace and power, so that I shall have all I need forevermore. The next page I head with the line, I can have what I want if I plant it. Under it, paste pictures of farmers or gardeners planting seed. Only take a pen or pencil and change those seeds into dollars. Under these pictures, put the riches of the Spirit now fill my mind and affairs. I think prosperity. I talk prosperity. And I know that prosperity and success are mine. On other pages, show pictures of growing grain or other plants with dollar signs at the top instead of the usual grain or fruit. Use such affirmations as God is my inexhaustible and omnipotent source of abundant supply. I accept the will of God, which is abundant prosperity for me. If I continue to desire you, I shall have you, because I trust in God for all things I desire. Then on succeeding pages, show pictures of great piles of money, bags of money, piles of paper money and currency all around the pages, and pictures of yourself pasted in the center, surrounded by riches. If you can find pictures of men digging up treasure hoards, put them in. Put in all kinds of pictures that imply riches and prosperity. Put in pictures of the sort of surroundings you will have when you have manifested the riches you desire. Get pictures of a beautiful home, the home of your dreams. Show, if possible, each room as you would have it furnished. Show the outside with a wide driveway bordered by a beautiful lawn, shrubbery around the house, trees in the background, the kind of car you would like to own drawn up before the house. Show even the wardrobes of fine clothes you would have. Show horses or bicycles or whatnot for the children. Show the flowers in your garden. When I got the lessons of the God in You, wrote Miss Caroline Kroll of Indianapolis in December 1939, I had only $12 a month. Now I have a nice home and everything is paid for. I'm so happy. Mrs. Kroll had written us in the fall of 37 expressing her great desire for a home, and we suggested to her this treasure mapping method. She says in her last letter, I never faltered in my home making, and tonight I'm sitting in a good home of my own and never was any happier in my youth. Remember, the first step in supplying a need is to know that it is already supplied in the mind of God. God has already given you all of good. It is yours for the taking. The most perfect prayer is the deep realization that your need is already supplied. You don't have to waste energy wondering about the supply. All you have to do is to focus your energy upon being one with it. Your desires are like acorns, visions of the mighty oaks they can grow to be. What you desire is and always has been yours. What man can conceive, man can achieve. It is the eye that makes the horizon. No man ever bettered his position by limiting himself in his own mind to the one he had. No man ever made a success of his business by thinking failure. Every success is achieved first in your own thoughts. You must work first on yourself, because all trouble, limitation, and the like are states of consciousness. Change your thought and you change all. You get the condition that belongs to your consciousness. As Emerson put it, no man was ever ridden down or talked down by anything but himself. Look within yourself for the source of all power. I am the great power of God expressing as me. I am the great abundance for all my needs and a surplus to spare. That to which I give my attention reveals itself, so give your attention to the things you want. Fill your scrapbook with pictures of them. Put over and under and around them such affirmations as these. God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. I rejoice in the bounty of God, constantly manifesting to meet my every need. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. For herein is the Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before you ask him. Fear not, for it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. All that the Father hath is yours, and you are in all ways prospered. I will give thee hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the God of Israel. If thou return to the Almighty, then shalt thou lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brooks. I will sing unto Jehovah, because he hath dealt bountifully with me. Remember that according to thy faith be it done unto you. So believe that you receive. If your beliefs are all for the future, you will get them in the distant future, but never now. You will never quite catch up with them. Now is the accepted time. Now is the day of salvation. Realize that all these good things are now coming into manifestation in your life. Bless and thank God for them now. Instead of pleading, God bless me, and make such a weary fuss, how much better off we'd be if we would smile a while and say, I thank you, God, for blessing us this day. Instead of begging God, give me and mine the things which our hearts crave. How much happier we'd be if we would laugh with life and say, we thank you, God, for what we have today. But what shall we do about pressing debts? Many will ask. First, make a list of all of them. Then thank God for having sent such trustful people to your aid, and thank him for the confidence they have shown in you. Next, see yourself in your mind's eye going the rounds of all your creditors, paying them in full. See their thankful, smiling faces. Hear yourself expressing to them your appreciation of their courtesy and forbearance. Hear them telling you that they were glad to be of help, will be glad to extend the same credit to you in the future. Get pictures of people paying money over to merchants. Paste in your own features over those of the debtors, and under them put such affirmations as these. Divine love prospers all of us together. Now, God is our supply. Through each of us to all, and through all of us to each, I speak for all of us the word that multiplies money to all of us, and my word accomplishes that whereunto I send it. In God is my trust. When I worry, I am not trusting God. When I trust God, I have nothing to worry about. I put the payment of these debts lovingly in the hands of the Father with a childlike trust that which is for my highest good will come to me. Then do your part by using some of whatever money you receive to pay those debts. And as you pay out the money, bless it in some such wise way as this: I bless thee, and be thou a blessing as I pay out this money. I bless it. May it enrich everyone who touches it. The value of the substance I hold in my hands is this day magnified, for I perceive that it is truly a symbol of my heavenly Father's inexhaustible riches. Go forth, increase, multiply, and bring forth fruit, and hundredfold. Here is a prayer suggested by R.A.D. in a recent issue of Nautilus, to be used in connection with your list of debts. Father, I thank thee that thou hast opened the way for me to pay every bill on this list, sending the money for each one before it is due. I place this expense sheet absolutely and unconditionally in thy hands, and from the depths of a rich consciousness I thank and praise thee that the money for each separate item already is provided, awaiting only my claim to bring it into evidence. The glory of thy radiance shining before me, infinite Father, has opened the way for my unfailing prosperity and for a success greater than I have ever before experienced. I put from me every thought of limitation or lack and go free to have an abundance of all good. The right job is the most pressing problem for many people, and you can help yourself or others to that right work through treasure mapping, in the same way that you can bring riches or health or any other good thing. The first essential, of course, is to know what you want. What kind of work would you most like to do? What are you best fitted for? What is your ultimate ambition? Get a scrapbook and paste in it first a picture of yourself. After deciding on the line of work you want to devote yourself to, take an inventory of yourself and think in what position you are now fitted to start. Then get a picture from the magazines of someone working in that position, paste it in your scrapbook, and if you have a snapshot of yourself that you can substitute for the face in the picture, do it. Decide then what is the next position you will be fitted for in the line of work you have adopted, and paste a picture of someone in that position on the next page of your scrapbook. Fill succeeding pages with logical steps in your progress, right on up to the very top. When you feel that your work will entitle you to a private office, paste in a picture of someone representing yourself, seated at a desk in a sumptuously furnished office, with his title lettered on the door, on the side of his desk, and then letter in your name over the title. And remember, no one ever got a good job by limiting himself mentally to a poor one. Admit to yourself that you are good. Then let others find it out by the service you give. This is the key to any door you wish to unlock. Yourself plus is your fortune. Your affairs plus is success. Paste over and under and around your pictures such affirmations as these: God is with me in all that I do. If God be for you, who can be against you? Know ye not that ye are God's, sons of the Most High? What should your situation be like? What is it like in the divine mind, in the eternal plan? Your Father knoweth what things ye have need of before you ask him. Fear not, for it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. All that the Father has is yours, and you are in all ways prospered. If ye abide in me, and my words abide unto you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. For herein is the Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, with good will doing service as to the Lord, and not to man. Whether therefore ye eat or drink, or whatever ye do, do all to the glory of God. The same principles that help you to a better position will help you to make your business grow and prosper. When you have a business of your own, many a man has started with practically nothing and built a fortune, simply by taking God into partnership with him. Start your scrapbook with a picture of yourself and of your business as it is now. Then on each succeeding page, show it growing bigger and better. Picture the service you want to give your customers. Picture thousands of them taking advantage of that service. Picture yourself and your helpers serving even greater numbers. Picture your product in the hands of more and more users. Picture its manufacture in great volume, its shipping, its sale, everything you can connect with it. And let every picture show progress, growth, expansion. See yourself serving the world. Under those pictures, put inspiring affirmations. I am a partner and co-worker with God. It is the purpose of the universal mind to see men prosper, that they may express more of life, love, happiness, and understanding, thus reflecting more of God. Our product is the connecting link between this demand and God's supply. The need is expanding continually, and we have the will and the intelligence to see and meet it. Therefore, there is a continually growing demand for our product that increases as I realize the spiritual significance of my work and make better products for my customers. It is in my power to make my customers better qualified through the equipment that I provide for prosperity and success. I delight in that power. I increase that power by using it for the honor, glory, and pleasure of my customers and myself. Father, this business has to be good, so you handle it for me. I put it and all my affairs lovingly in your hands with a childlike faith. That which is for my highest good will come to me. One on God's side is a majority, and I am together with you, so all things are working together for my good, and I am working with them in the wisdom and the power of the Spirit. God is in control. God is Spirit, good, omnipotent, apart from him. There is no overcoming power. God is life, love, and peace. God's will now fulfilled in me is abundant work for our business. The Spirit that multiplied the loaves and fishes for Jesus increases my substance, and I manifest prosperity. But remember to give good measure to all customers and co-workers alike, for all who joy would win must share it. Happiness was born a twin. Many who have no business to worry about have homes or pieces of property or whatnot that they wish to sell. And at times this is a problem, yet it is a problem that lends itself to the same methods outlined above. As you can judge from the following letter dated May 15th, 1940, from one of the subscribers to The God in You. When I received Robert Collier's course, The God in You, we were in debt and sometime wondered what the next meal was to be. Even though we owned our cottage and 3 lots, it seemed we couldn't get a buyer, nor could we even borrow on the property, even though it was clear, as it was in a rundown neighborhood. Since reading the course, we've sold all St. Louis County property and purchased this 96-acre farm at Bell, paying cash for it and clearing ourselves of debt. As we sold most of the property for cash, a thing we could not have done without the help of the God in You. I believe we are about to see another manifestation of God's goodness, as we have deposits under our ground which may indeed show God's goodness through riches to us. The first essentially is to bless the property you wish to sell. Know that it is a perfect image in the divine mind, made for the express purposes of manifesting good to someone, and declare that it is now sold to the right party at the right price. Paste a picture of it in your scrapbook. Think of every possibility for its development and paste such pictures in your book too. Show pictures of people looking at similar properties, of a sale being made, of the developments that will take place on it. LCB told in a recent issue of Unity how she put her house lovingly in the hands of the Father, then used this affirmation: You, Christ, will find for us the perfect purchasers, who will love our home as we have loved it and recognize it for theirs and have sufficient cash to pay for it and have it now. Only through you are we fully aware of our omnipresent good. Within a short time, the article states the house was sold for cash and at their own price. In Nautilus, some time ago, there was a similar story, the affirmation used in that case being the following: God's loving presence in all of us brings the right buyer now, who will pay the right price for the property and who will make money on the deal, while at the same time I will make money, God's money, in the selling. Divine love now multiplies God's money and his good to both buyer and seller, so that all shall be satisfied. All things now work together for the good to me and to the new buyer of this property. We are the open channels through which divine love is now flowing to this property and through it to all the world. All the barriers are now dissolved by divine love, and my customer comes quickly and gloriously. God is our prosperity here and now. In God I trust, and I know that all things work together to manifest the good we desire. Whatever your problem, whatever your difficulty, you can get guidance if you will seek it. Give the facts to the God in you. Ask him for the solution, then leave the problem with him and forget it in the serene confidence that he can and will find the answer. Never force the issue. Have faith in that God in you and wait for a leading. And thine ear shall hear a voice behind thee saying, "This is the path, walk ye in it." Our physical senses are able to discern only such objects as are on the same or lower material plane than ourselves. Our ears, for instance, are attuned to but a few octaves of sound. Those of higher or lower wavelength are inaudible to us, yet the radio has taught us that all about us are sounds of music, of laughter, or drama and instruction. And the same is true with our eyes. We see only those things that are on the median light waves. The air may be full of television pictures, yet with our unaided eyes we get none of them. Is it therefore so hard to believe that when the servant of the prophet Elisha was fearful because of the enemies all around, Elisha prayed and said, "Lord, I pray thee open his eyes, that he may see." And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha. May not the air around you be just as full of God's angels? May not Elisha's advice be just as good today? Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. The psalmist of old testified, you remember, "I have been young, and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread." Paste in your scrapbook some of those old biblical pictures of angels guiding the children of God, of guardian angels, and over and under them put such affirmations as these: God goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me just what to do. I thank you, God, that you are there with us, and no matter what happens, we are all right. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. He will cover thee with his pinions, and under his wings shalt thou take refuge. Grace Caldwell had a beautiful little poem along these lines in Unity Weekly. So often through God's holy book there shines some clear-cut word, some strong and simple phrase that gleams like diamonds gathered from deep mines, set polished there to light our earthly days. And God was with the lad. The words, how brief, and yet what vital meaning in their sound, as spoken of that ancient child of grief, once left to die upon the hot parched ground. And God was with the lad. One need not look for further information. All is told. No gifted hand on earth could pen a book of strange biography that would unfold with clearer words, nor could it tell us as well the God-companioned life of Ishmael. Such affirmations cannot help but bring you peace and serenity. In Esquire magazine some time ago, there was an article telling about the fear scent the body gives off, which is exceedingly irritating to any animal that senses it. It is this fear scent, said the article, which causes dogs to attack people who have not molested them. A dog will respond quickly both in friendship and in training when he is approached without fear. But no one can fool him for a minute with a fearless exterior concealing a quaking heart, for the fear scent is there. It is usually the fear that a canoe will tip over that causes the occupant to move suddenly in the wrong direction and thereby upset it. The fear of drowning when suddenly thrown into the water causes one to struggle frantically and incidentally force himself under. It is an interesting scientific fact that a baby until 24 hours old can swim. Beyond that, it starts to realize fear and will sink. Fear is really the mental hazard of crossing your bridge before you come to them. It is not likely that the long odor of our fear scent registers on all we come in contact with, even though it be but subconsciously with human beings. Certain it is that when we approach people fearfully, we seem to repel them, for we seldom make a favorable impression, seldom get from them what we want. The remedy to bless the divinity in all we come in contact with. You remember how often Jesus used the greeting peace. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. And to the wind and waves he bade, peace, be still, and immediately the storm abated. Acquaint now thyself with God and be at peace. When trouble threatens in your home or your business, bless all concerned and mentally affirm peace. The love of God is at work here. All of my forces are peaceful and harmonious. There is no resistance in me against the spirit of God's peaceful life. Every anxious thought is stifled. Thy mighty confidence and thy peace enfold me. The Spirit of God fills my mind and abundance is everywhere manifest. Then go up to the thing you fear confidently, serenely, or if it is something you must do, do it. Once you have lost the fear of it, you will find it easy. Evil? There is really no such thing. It is merely the lack of good. Summon the good, and the evil vanishes. The same is true of enemies. Summon love for them, salute the divinity in them, and bless them, and you will find hate turn to love. Say mentally to the divinity in those who appear to be your enemies, I recognize you. You can't disguise yourself. You are a radiant child of God. God's creations are all excellent. I bless you in the name of Jesus Christ, because you are a child of God. You speak the truth, and you are ever honest, just, and harmonious. My world is filled with splendid people, and I love them all. Be noble, and the nobleness that lies in other men sleeping but never dead will rise in majesty to meet thine own. Trust men, and they will be true to you. Treat them greatly, and they will show themselves great. Love overcometh, for all motion is cyclic. It circulates to the limits of its possibilities and then returns to its starting point. Thus, any unselfish expenditure of energy returns to you laden with gifts. Any unselfish act done for another's benefit is given part of yourself. It is an outward flow of power that completes its cycle and returns laden with energy. The thoughts that we send forth always return with a harvest of their kind. That which we put into the thought comes back into our life. For our every thought there is a response, a return of the pendulum that we have started swinging. It is Emerson's law of compensation. So you can see the wisdom in the dictum, into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, peace be to this house. But do more than bless those who come in contact with. Act the part. Think kindly of them as well. Believe not each accusing tongue, as most weak people do, but still believe that story wrong, which ought not to be true. It is as easy to add, as it is to subtract. Love adds. Fear and hatred subtract. You can reinforce your efforts with all the universe through love, as easily as you can separate yourself from everyone through hatred and fear. Remember, evil is usually in the eye of the beholder. There's an old poem that depicts this graphically. Mistress Polly Whittenhouse lived on Whetstone Alley, and she was like an angel to little orphan Sally, and she was like a harlot to the lass across the way, and she was like a siren with the devil in her eye to any roving sailor man as he was passing by. So Mistress Polly Whittenhouse was either good or bad, according to the need or greed each of her judges had, according as her living threw a shadow on their own. The sailors flung her kisses, and the last she cast a stone. And Sally and the slave, they prayed for her each night, and all of them that judged her knew that they judged her right. A scrapbook on love is probably the most valuable one you can make. Put in the pictures of all your friends, all those you would have for friends. Paste in it pictures of the home of your dreams, of each separate room in it, of the furnishings of everything about it. Put in it every motto of peace and love and happiness you can find. Put in it pictures of children and toys and fireside scenes, dinners and parties, and all the intimate happy things you can think of. Love that house and everything about it. Live in it mentally. Believe in it. And before long you will find that you are in it in actuality. God lights the way. No more we grope, nor we stumble on in troubled hope. We sow no seeds of care or strife, but those of love and joy in life. No more we strive to plan our lot. The Father fills our cup unsought. Sow the seeds in your scrapbook and in your life of love and joy and happiness. Then leave it to the Father to provide the means of making these seeds grow and bear fruit. I have planted, Apollos watered, but God giveth the increase. Remember, the I am in you is your part of divinity. Some sage put it, whatever the Creator is, I am. How often have you said, I am poor, or I am sick, I am ignorant, or I am weak, and thus fastened these evils upon yourself? You acknowledged a lack of something. What can you build with minus quantities? Only emptiness and void. Reverse all that. Whenever you say, I am, whenever you thus call upon the God in you, make it something you want. I am rich. I am powerful. I am well and whole and strong. I am happy. I am perfect in every way. Make an I am scrapbook with your picture on the first page, then pictures of Superman or Genii, or whatever your idea of power may be, scattered throughout the pages of the book. Put in it pictures of all things you would like to be and do, and fill it with such affirmations as these. The spirit of prosperity fills my mind and overflows into my affairs. God is my perfect will. Through me it is done. There is only one presence and one power in my life. God, the good omnipotent. God is my inexhaustible source of abundant supply. The riches of the Spirit now fill my mind and affairs. I think prosperity, I talk prosperity, and I know that prosperity and success are mine. If we but touch the garment's hem, comes power surging through. Try, play the part, stretching out your hand. Then quiet, wait what comes to you. God gave man power and dominion over all that is below him. I said, ye are gods, and all of you sons of the Most High. As many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. Will you receive him? Will you believe in and accept the power he offers you? God is able to do abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that waketh in us. Will you accept his divine sonship? Will you be the God-man you are intended to be? Then cast off all fear of debt and lack and sickness and evil. Live in the world of love and plenty that was intended for you. Use the God-given power that is yours to first visualize the things you want. In the beginning was the Word, the mental image you remember, and then bring those mental images into actuality through your faith and your work. Treasure maps help to re-educate your mind, help you to visualize and hold in thought the images you wish to create. But visualizing and asking God's guidance is only half the battle. The other half is to make your start, to dig in and do the first thing necessary towards bringing your desires into actuality. The kingdom of heaven is the kingdom of expansion, but there must be something to expand. You can start a house with a single brick. You can start a fortune with a single dollar, but there must be that brick, or that dollar, or that first step to put your leaving into before you can make it expand and grow into the perfect structure of your dreams. So do the thing, whatever it may be, that is necessary to your start. Make your picture, draw your treasure map. Then take the first step that may be necessary towards bringing it into actuality. To begin is to be half done. You will be amazed how quickly you will reach your goal. To every man, God gives a gift tonight. To king and peasant, and to you and me, a shining year, clean, white as crystal clear. A tropic pools or stars above the sea. Oh, let us promise all the coming days to keep them pure, to keep them ever white. As heaven-born one comes to us each morn, God help us use it wisely in thy sight. Whatever task, whatever joy be ours, throughout the year that now has scarce begun, let us steadfastly claim in his own name the promised presence of the Holy One. Bertha M. Russell. That concludes this discussion of treasure mapping and scrapbooking by Robert Collier. And I'd really love to hear if anybody tries any of these techniques. It's absolutely critical for you to have some sort of notebook that you're working with. There are a lot of people that can use their phones and the note function on their phones. That's fine. If you can integrate pictures on your phone and your notes, and you're going to look at that at the same amount. But I really like to do a scrapbook because you can feel it. It's tangible. It's easy to find pictures. If you can't find pictures, just download them from the internet and print them out. There's always the pictures that you're looking for once you start to look for them. And do integrate your picture with other pictures. And I want to hear if anybody has success with it, using these affirmations, using the section on love, for instance. It can be pretty transformational. And just go on a regular basis. Just grab your book and look at these pictures. It's almost like magic. They become sigils in their own sort of way. They're magical pictures that start to change the reality around you. If you do this right, it's a lot of fun. Imagine the house that you want. Is there going to be an exercise room? Then put a picture of the exercise room. Put the hot tub, the infinity pool. Put a picture of each of the guest bedrooms. You know, there's going to be people that are visiting, right? Put the deluxe kitchen that you have. Put the pool room. You can have the finished garage and the guest house. You can put the view, and you can put all these things. Just have fun with it. Imagine the house. Put all the pictures in your scrapbook, or yourself working at a certain place. Then look at these pictures on a regular basis. For a lot of people, it's very difficult to visualize. I say, hey, visualize this thing, but they really can't see properly. And that may be due to limitations that's been built in by our school system and our interfacing with medias, which have limited our abilities to visualize properly. There is a way to use eye movements to enhance your ability to visualize, even for people that cannot visualize, and it's impossible. But scrapbooking is a way to subvert that. You can let the scrapbook sort of visualize for you and stare at certain pictures. And if you have a friend that's a good graphic artist, then you can have them combine or put your picture in whatever environment that you want. And it's amazing. If you create enough of these pictures, you can flash them on your computer. You can put them all around you. You can have it on your screensaver on your computer. But do something that really clarifies what it is you're trying to experience or create or encounter in your reality. Because I want you to see that this stuff works. I want you to see if it works. So try the scrapbooking method. Create a scrapbook. Create 3 scrapbooks, one for health, one for love, one for money, and create each of them. Put pictures in there like he describes, using pictures of guardian angels and cornucopias, and the images that he describes to use and put in your scrapbook will become a treasure map. It's treasure mapping and scrapbooking at the same time. It's very similar to the treasure map technique discussed by Joseph Murphy in the episode on creating your treasure map. It's just as similar as Dr. Joseph Dispenza's discussion of the Mind movie, something I've used a lot of too. I believe that there's got to be someone out there that's doing virtual reality mind movies of circumstances and situations that you can put yourself in. Please let me know. Contact me, please. I want to be a part of it. And I think that that's really the next lesson that we're going to start learning. It's how we can imprint things that we see on our reality around us. And it's going to really change the way we interface with media going forward, because we'll have songs and movies and things that we might have enjoyed in the past, but they have a certain dark and negative energy that you can't really enjoy as much in the future. Like watching a horror film might be different once we start really becoming powerful with our visualization skills. Everything becomes true that we see, and so we have to be careful with what we watch. I'm saying that happens as we become more and more powerful, and we are becoming more and more powerful every day. We are encountering a full reality revolution. When Robert Collier was talking about using treasure mapping and scrapbooking in 1937, they would do this and it would take months, years for it to occur. And it's happening in weeks here. People are seeing their manifestations so much faster now. And all you have to do is create a treasure map using a scrapbook in this manner and really define what it is you want and create some pictures of it, create some affirmations around it, and then please tell me how it works out in the comments. I'd love to know if it was successful so that other people can try it, because it's a really comprehensive way of vision boarding that is as effective as mind movies. And so please let me know. I also like to look at fractals and kaleidoscopes before I look at my treasure map. It seems to enhance my visualizing capability. So try that as well. In any case, you can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. Check out our Aura program that's in the description. Alternate universe reality activation with 2 meditations exclusively available through that package, and a full discussion of traveling the multiverse and actualizing an actual alternative reality in your world. I'm sending out love and joy to everybody that can hear my voice, and imagining a perfect world and a new earth with you in it. And welcome to the Reality Revolution.